All right, so today we're going to dig into a concept called the sovereign architecture of discipline. And really, what it does is it helps us reframe a struggle that, well, I think we all know. It's that feeling when your best intentions start to feel less like freedom and honestly, more like a cage.
So let's just start with a question that I'm guessing hits pretty close to home for a lot of us. Have you ever, set a goal? You make this perfect plan, and then all of a sudden you just feel trapped by it. Like your own ambitions start to feel less like a path forward and more like a prison you actually built for yourself.
Well, that feeling, that's the exact starting point for this whole idea. The source material has a great name for it, the prison of good intentions. And it's that totally draining sense that the very structure you created to make your life better has somehow turned against you.
And this quote, man, it just nails it, doesn't it? It's that exact moment, right? When your gym routine or your diet or your work schedule, all these things that you chose start to feel like this demanding boss that you can just never, ever please. And that right there, that's the core problem we're digging into. Why do our own plans so often backfire on us?
So what is the root cause here? Well, the source argues it's a complete misunderstanding of what discipline even is. We tend to see it as this list of have-tos, right? A bunch of shoulds that feel like they're coming from somewhere else. It's almost like a reflex, We automatically resist anything that feels like we're losing our freedom, even when we're the ones who made the rules in the first place.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting. This feeling of being trapped, it's not a given. It's not inevitable. It all comes down to the mindset you bring to the table. And the source material lays out this incredible contrast between two totally different ways of thinking about discipline.
Okay, so the first one, and this is the one that builds that prison of good intentions we've been talking about. It's called the oppression mindset. And look, this is often our default setting, right? It's kind of the path of least resistance for how our brains view structure and rules.
So what does that actually look like in real life? Well, it's reactive. You only go to the gym because you feel guilty about skipping yesterday. It's totally focused on sacrifice. Your inner voice is always saying, I can't eat that. It's a mindset where you literally feel like a prisoner and you're just driven by what you think you should be doing, not by what you really truly want deep down.
And this is where the alternative comes in, and it's brilliant. On the other side, we have the sovereign mindset. Just look at this shift here. The focus goes from sacrifice and restriction to creation and autonomy. Your motivation goes from an external "I should do this" to an internal "I want to do this." You stop being a prisoner of your own rules and you become the architect of your own systems. I mean, the feeling is just night and day. You go from feeling oppressed to feeling totally empowered.
And that brings us right to the core idea of this whole thing, sovereign architecture. Now, let's be clear, this isn't just some rah-rah positive thinking. No, this is a completely new way to actually design your life and your discipline, right from the ground up.
So this is it, the big definition. Let's break this down for a second. It's a self-designed system. That part is absolutely crucial. You are the designer. It's a structure of principles and habits that you build for one single purpose, to achieve your own sovereign goals. We're talking about the goals that you, and only you, have decided are truly worth going after.
So you see the shift? The crucial point is this massive change in perspective. You're not a victim of discipline. You're not trapped in some cage somebody else built. No way. You are the architect, and you are deliberately designing a palace for yourself. A palace that serves your deepest values and makes the life you want not just, possible, but actually probable.
Okay. I know what you're thinking. That sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you make that jump from feeling like a prisoner to thinking like an architect? Well, let's get into the process.
The source lays out a really clear 3-step process. First up, you draft the blueprint. This is where you define your core values, what truly matters to you, things like health or creativity. Then you lay the foundation. You create guiding principles based on those values. So if your value is health, a principle might be, I prioritize things that give me energy and vitality. And finally, you build the structure. This is where you design supportive systems that make it all easy, like prepping healthy meals on a Sunday, or blocking out that first hour of the morning just for writing.
And here's the golden rule for any good architect, right? The structure has to serve its purpose. Your systems, your habits, your routines, they only exist for one reason: to support your core values. And if a rule isn't helping you become more of the person you actually want to be, then it's just bad architecture. You got to tear it down. It really is that simple. So all of this, it all builds to the final and maybe the most powerful insight of this entire framework. And it's going to feel like a bit of a paradox at first, but stick with me, because it completely redefines what real freedom actually is.
Here it is. The ultimate payoff is this beautiful paradox. True freedom is not the absence of structure. It's not chaos. It's not having zero rules. Real, genuine freedom is living inside a structure that you have intentionally and consciously designed for yourself. A structure that doesn't restrict you, it liberates you. It frees you up to become the person you actually want to be.
So let's end this with a little challenge from that architect's point of view. Instead of thinking about what you need to cut out or restrict, I want you to think about what you want to build. So here's the question for you. What is one single rule, one supportive system that you could create for yourself today that would actually make you more free tomorrow?